And what's interesting in this shot is you can see an actual bulge on the underside of the neck. So over time, if this horse was ridden like this consistently, he would develop this musculature under his neck, and the top of his neck, which he needs to be in the correct frame, would atrophy those muscles. So those muscles would become underdeveloped, and the wrong muscles would become overdeveloped.
So this is just, and this is unnatural. This isn't what he wants to, or how he would normally carry himself.
Correct.
Is this a rider-made error?
This is a rider-made error, and you can even see, too, the rider in the saddle, who, yes, it is me, is sitting in what I affectionately call the Barco-lounger position.
Okay.
So my upper body is collapsed into the back of the saddle, my legs are forward, so now my weight is more towards his loin, and I'm basically pushing his back down, and his head and his neck are coming up. My hands are too high. So I'm causing this inverted frame, and it causes a lot of tension and, you know, physical tension, and then anxiety in the horse.
Okay.
Look at his face, he's not happy.
His ears, yeah, you can just tell. So this is the opposite of what your whole program is about, which is being relaxed and comfortable. This horse is not relaxed and not comfortable.
That is correct. So, so here's a horse, I just asked him to stop. He's very soft. If you look at his, his expression, he's softly getting his hind feet on the ground, and he's starting to slide. And what's important, I think, about this picture is that this horse is barefoot and he's on grass, and it's not even ground. So it's not about the equipment, you know? It's not about what we put on him. It's just about the horse using himself correctly. And here, he's using himself correctly. He's just balancing lightly on the bit. Again, I'm not pulling. My hands are forward slightly, and I said, ho.
And he was comfortable enough to stop in the correct manner.
Right.
Well, we are just cruising through. We are talking about Dale Rudin and the ways she's helping people establish a better relationship with their horse and making sure their horses are happy and comfortable, which is what we're all about here on Horse Talk Live. Stick around. We'll be back with more on Horse Talk Live. Hey everybody, thanks for coming back to join us on Horse Talk Live. I'm Lizzie Iverson, and my guest today is Dale Rudin, and we're talking about her horsemanship methods. Dale, for somebody that may just be joining us, give us a quick overview of what you think about horses and what you're trying to instill in your students.
I think, you know, the main thing is to pay attention, to be mindful of what is happening with your horse, and not to assume that your horse is, you know, the words I've heard, being a jerk, stubborn, stupid. As an example, I had a woman bring a horse to a clinic, and she asked me to help load him in a trailer. We did a lot of groundwork, and we went through the regular program, and then towards the end we brought the trailer out, and he was definitely fearful of it. And I worked with him. He got up on the ramp, he, you know, would put a foot or two in, and he just had a hard time. It came to the point where she had to go home, so, you know, we just very slowly all got behind him and kind of slowly shoved him in, and she got him home. I got an email from her a few weeks later telling me that the horse was going blind, and she didn't know, and her trailer was dark.
Yeah.
And he wasn't being resistant. He was just saying, I'm not comfortable with this. So I think that's important, is realizing that sometimes there's something going on, and even if there isn't anything obvious like blindness or physical discomfort, there's something going on in his head. That's, you know, he's trying to tell you, I can't do this the way you want me to do it. I'm uncomfortable, and I'm telling you that. I'm shouting it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not letting you catch me, because every time I get ridden, it's painful because your saddle doesn't fit me. You know, things like that. And, you know, being aware of that and attentive to it, and then trying to find, you know, a resolution that works.
So taking a mindful approach defines your program, but also something, and your website says it plain and clear, unnatural horsemanship. And that's definitely something we don't hear a lot, because everybody's so focused on natural horsemanship. So what do you mean by unnatural horsemanship?
Well, the way I look at it is nothing that we do with horses is natural. Nothing. I mean, if a horse is standing alone in a pasture, fending for himself, living in a herd, okay, that's natural. We don't really have that so much anymore, you know, these days, but we have, you know, a semblance of that. As soon as we put a halter on and we interact with them,